Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome devotees to this morning's Bhagavatam class. This morning we will be discussing from Śrīmad-Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 9, verse 31, and the chapter is entitled Answers by Citing the Lord's Version. We're very happy to have His Grace Vishnugada Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Vanchakalptribhyascha kripasindobhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. And it's all yours, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mother Anasuya. Thank you. If the devotees could unmute if they're in a situation where they can. So we could have a call and response, a little bit call and response, even though it's a little off. Off timing, but that's okay. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Bharadhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari.
Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Bharadhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari.
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana.
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana.
Jamunatira Banachari
Yamunatira Vanachari.
Jamunatira Banachari
Yamunatira Vanachari.
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paribrajaka Ashtotara Sutta Shishimar Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Shami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai
Jai.
Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai
Jai.
ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai
Jai.
Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai
Jai.
प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय
Jai.
श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की जय
Jai.
वृंदावन धाम की जय
Jai.
नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय
Jai.
गंगा माई की जय
Jai.
यमुना माई की जय
Jai.
तुलसी देवी की जय
Jai.
भक्ति देवी की जय
Jai.
समवेता भक्तवृंद की जय
Jai.
गौर प्रेमानंदे
Hari Hari Bol.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glory to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga Hari Hari Bol.
All to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga.
Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Shami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirbhishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Bhagavatam, second canto, 9th chapter, 31st verse. śrī-bhagavān uvāca jñānaṁ parama-guhyaṁ me yad vijñāna-samanvitam sarahasyaṁ tad-aṅgaṁ cha gṛhāṇa gaditaṁ mayā. śrī-bhagavān uvāca jñānaṁ parama-guhyaṁ me yad vijñāna-samanvitam sarahasyaṁ tad-aṅgaṁ cha gṛhāṇa gaditaṁ mayā. śrī-bhagavān uvāca jñānaṁ parama-guhyaṁ me yad vijñāna-samanvitam sarahasyaṁ tad-aṅgaṁ cha gṛhāṇa gaditaṁ mayā. Please chant.
śrī-bhagavān uvāca jñānaṁ parama-guhyaṁ yad vijñāna-samanvitam sarahasyaṁ tad-aṅgaṁ cha gṛhāṇa gaditaṁ mayā. Hare Krishna.
श्रीभगवान् उवाच ज्ञानं परं गुह्यं मे यद्विज्ञानसमन्वितं सरहस्यं तदङ्गं च गृहाणगदितं मया. हरे कृष्ण.
हरे कृष्ण। श्रीभगवानुवाच ज्ञानं परं गुह्यं मे यद्विज्ञानं समान्वितं सरहस्यं तदङ्गं च गृहाण गदितं मया. हरे कृष्ण।
śrī-bhagavān uvāca. The personality of Godhead said, jñānaṁ, knowledge acquired, parama, extremely, guhyaṁ, confidential, me, of me, yat, which is, vijñāna, realization, samanvitam, coordinated, sarahasyaṁ, with devotional service, tat, of that, aṅgaṁ cha, necessary paraphernalia, gṛhāṇa, just try to take up, gaditaṁ, explained, mayā, by me. Translation. The personality of Godhead said, knowledge about me, as described in the scriptures, is very confidential, and it has to be realized in conjunction with devotional service. The necessary paraphernalia for that process is being explained by me, and you may take it up carefully. Purport. Lord Brahma is the topmost devotee of the Lord within the universe. And therefore, the personality of Godhead replied to his four principal inquiries in four important statements, which are known as the original Bhagavatam in 4 verses. These were Brahma's questions. What are the forms of the Lord, both in matter and in transcendence? 2, how are the different energies of the Lord working? 3, how does the Lord play with his different energies? And 4, how may Brahma be instructed to discharge the duty entrusted to him? The prelude to the answers is this verse under discussion, wherein the Lord informs Brahma that knowledge of him, the supreme absolute truth, as it is stated in the revealed scriptures, is very subtle and cannot be understood unless one is self-realized by the grace of the Lord. The Lord says that Brahma may take the answers as he explains them. This means that transcendental knowledge of the absolute supreme being can be known if it is made known by the Lord himself. By the mental speculation of the greatest mundane thinkers, the absolute truth cannot be understood. The mental speculators can reach up to the standard of impersonal Brahman realization, but factually, complete knowledge of transcendence is beyond the knowledge of impersonal Brahman. Thus, it is called the supreme confidential wisdom. Out of many liberated souls, someone may be qualified to know the personality of Godhead. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is also said by the Lord himself that out of many hundreds of thousands of people, one may try for perfection in human life. And out of many liberated souls, one may know him as he is. Therefore, the knowledge of the personality of Godhead may be obtained by devotional service only. Sarahasyaṁ means devotional service. Lord Krishna instructed Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita because he found Arjuna to be a devotee and friend. Without such qualifications, one cannot enter into the mystery of the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, one cannot understand the personality of Godhead unless one becomes a devotee and discharges devotional service. This mystery is love of Godhead. Therein lies the main qualification for knowing the mystery of the personality of Godhead. And to attain the stage of transcendental love of Godhead, regulative principles of devotional service must be followed. The regulative principles are called vidhi bhakti, or the devotional service of the Lord. And they can be practiced by a neophyte with his present senses. Such regulative principles are mainly based on hearing and chanting of the glories of the Lord. And such hearing and chanting of the glories of the Lord can be made possible in the association of devotees only. Lord Chaitanya therefore recommended 5 main principles for attaining perfection in the devotional service of the Lord. The first is association with devotees, hearing. Second is chanting the glories of the Lord. Third, hearing śrī-bhagavān from the pure devotee. Fourth, residing in a holy place connected with the Lord. And fifth, worshiping the deity of the Lord with devotion. Such rules and regulations are parts of devotional service. So, as requested by Lord Brahma, the personality of Godhead will explain all about the 4 questions put forward by Brahma and others also, which are parts and parcels of the same question. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurinmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitang Jena Bhutale Shayam Rupa Gadamaikam Dadati Shapadantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Before speaking, I would request the blessings and permission of all devotees, and particularly those who are senior by age and or advancement in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada says in the purport here that this is the prelude to Lord Krishna answering Lord Brahma's questions. And these answers to Lord Brahma's questions are considered the nutshell verses of śrī-bhagavān. So they are especially important to understand. This is after Lord Brahma performed austerities and penances for years, celestial years, hundreds of years, and 100 celestial years. And as a result of that, finally, the Supreme Lord appeared to him, and this is their interaction. So what happens when Krishna comes before, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead comes before you? So Lord Brahma is asking, oh, how these four questions are mentioned. How can I understand you better? And the essence of Lord Krishna's response, he says, understanding me and the knowledge about me is very confidential. And it could be understood only in conjunction with devotional service or bhakti yoga. Not by any other means is that going to be possible. There are many different processes of spiritual upliftment that are you can find, but the essence and the culmination of all of them is to engage one's heart, one's mind, one's body, one's words into this in the service of the Lord. And there are 9 kinds of service. Just like in a prism, light enters the prism. It's could be white light, and the prism refracts it into how many colors?
Prabhu, I was very bad in physics, so I don't know the answer.
What's that?
7 is
7 colors, yeah. So devotional service, it's all devotional service, but if you look at it carefully, there's 9 different kinds of devotional service. All of them are devotional service, and one of them can be practiced, or all of them can be practiced, and one can get perfection by practicing any one of them. But particularly, we have it's mentioned that hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord regularly is the most important, or the basic of all these different kinds of devotional service. Shravanam Kirtanam. That's why it's very important for devotees to, in order to advance in Krishna consciousness, to hear from the revealed scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, śrī-bhagavān, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and associated literatures regularly. Srila Prabhupada recommended for all initiated devotees to attend morning and evening classes. And so we're very fortunate that the organizers and administrators of the Harrisburg ISKCON Temple are organizing this platform just for that purpose, to hear about Lord Krishna Shravanam. And here, Lord Vishnu is saying to Brahma that the knowledge in the scriptures is very confidential. You know the word confidential. What does that word confidential mean? I'm asking.
Prabhu, is it almost like top secret, lack of a better word?
Yeah, it's secret,
Yeah.
private,
Private, yes, that's the yeah.
personal, intended to be kept secret. And you know, Lord Krishna describes a similar, makes a similar point in the Bhagavad Gita in the 9th chapter, which is entitled The Most Confidential Knowledge. Idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshyami anasuyave jnana vijñāna sahitam yaj gyatva mokshashe shubhat. That's the śrī-bhagavān uvāca. Yeah. Oh Arjuna, I am speaking this knowledge to you. Why? Because you're non-envious. Anasuyave. I think you might know this word, anasuyave. Yeah. And this is the most confidential knowledge. There he says, guhyatamam. Guhya means secret or mysterious, hidden, and guhya, and uttamam is the topmost. And in this verse, the word is parama-guhyaṁ, the topmost guhya. Yeah, the topmost secret, the secret of all secrets, he says. Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam in the next verse. So how is it a secret? How is it confidential? And why is it confidential? Those questions can be raised. Why is it confidential? Any thoughts on that?
Prabhu, because not everyone will be able to understand the glories of the Lord and not take it like it's an everyday affair. Like even when devotees were to hear, or people in general, when they were to hear the Rasa Leela, they might think of it on a very material platform. So it's so deep that I'm just being reminded of a quote that I was reading one time in Srila Prabhupada's lecture, that Krishna is not cheap because
Yeah,
he's so confidential.
yeah,
So yeah, he's not easily available, but he's also available.
yeah. Confidential. Yes. So confidential. On one hand, especially Krishna's most recent incarnation is Lord Chaitanya. He wants everyone to be Krishna conscious, and at the same time, but the knowledge is confidential. Oh, that's very. It seems like it's an incompatible or inconsistent view. In your life, in our lives, what are some things that are confidential? It's a question.
Bank balance.
Yeah. Your bank balance, sure. Yeah, anything else?
Sometimes health challenges, like we don't like,
Yes.
people, don't want to make it like a public announcement kind of a thing unless it's a
Sure.
crisis.
How about your password?
Oh, yes, passwords,
So
cell phone.
in this case, your bank balance or your cell phone or your password, what would happen if people get it?
They will misuse it for wrong
Yeah.
purpose.
So they'll take it, they'll use it against you. The more that if you have some, because this is personal knowledge about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the danger is that if someone is not sufficiently devotional, they'll take advantage and they will misuse it for other purposes. Of course, Lord Krishna, being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, can stop that. He's in the material world, people's personal information gets out there. Sometimes they, nowadays people did something called doxing. Have you heard of doxing? Nobody? So
No.
that's where somebody gets a hold of a person's phone number or address, and to give them a hard time, they'll send them pizzas, or they'll make false calls to the police department or the fire department saying there's a fire there, just to give them a hard time. Or, the media, when they find out about, say, a celebrity's activities, they'll go, and the paparazzi become annoying to the celebrity, because they'll find out about they'll watch through the windows, see what they're doing in their intimate times. So there's all kinds of problems that can come up if it's if confidential information is spread among those who are not sufficiently well behaved, or are interested in the pleasure of the object of that information. And in this case, that's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Does that make sense? Because by becoming engaged in devotional service, there are different qualities of pure devotional service mentioned in the Nectar devotion. I don't know if you know these. That one is pure devotional service brings immediate relief from all kinds of material distress. Pure devotional service is the beginning of all auspiciousness. It automatically puts one in transcendental pleasure. It's rarely achieved, and people who are on the platform of pure devotional service deride even the concept of liberation. And the last one, I don't know if you know this one, there's six items of qualities of pure devotional service. The last one is especially pertinent here. It's so powerful, it's the only means to attract Krishna. So pure devotional service is so powerful that by performing pure devotional service, you get Krishna. Krishna associates. You become, in a sense, like part of Krishna's family. You get to relate directly with Krishna. So without being properly vetted, why would Krishna, bring you into his family, or bring you into that? Yeah, like, for example, in the so somebody's going to go to there's a function, a dinner at the White House. They vet everybody very carefully to make sure that there's no troublemakers there, isn't it? So Krishna's interested in vetting people. And what is the vetting? That they have devotion, that they're engaging in devotional service. And that devotional service is, it's mentioned as pure. That means anyabhilashita shunyam jnana-karma-dhyanavrtam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhaktiruttama. Anyabhilashita. Anya means other. Abhilashita means other wishes, other desires. Like what other desires? Jnana karma, desire for mental speculation or material knowledge, or karma, or fruit of activity. Anavritam. Anukulyena krishnanushilanam. And we are simply, in pure devotional service, interested in how we can give pleasure to Krishna. What's the opposite? What's the other flip side of that? The flip side of that is how we are all acting in the material world, how we can get pleasure for ourselves. Therefore, to adjust a quote by a famous president who said, "Ask not what Krishna can do for you." We're adjusting it a little bit. Ask what you can do for Krishna. That's the essence. Yeah. So generally speaking, everybody in the world is thinking, okay, what can I get from God? Let me get something from God. But devotional attitude is when a person, devotee, can get pleasure by giving pleasure to Krishna. Their essence and their determination and their enthusiasm is to do that. How can I give pleasure to Krishna? In what way can I do that? And that's done by following the instruction of the spiritual master and learning from the spiritual master how to engage nicely for the pleasure of Krishna in the 9 kinds of devotional service in ways that please him. Krishna reiterates that many times in Bhagavad Gita. Also, he says, "Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavanyaschasmi tatvata." It's only by devotional service that you can know me. So in this verse also, there's the word rahasyam. I don't know if you caught the name rahasyam. Rahasyam is Srila Prabhupada describes it as in the purport as devotional service. Oftentimes, it's also translated as mystery. A mystery, rahasyam. Yeah. So a mystery. If there's a mystery, that means it's really hard to figure out. It's hard to know. And there's different reasons for it's hard to know. Sometimes the person, say it's a murder mystery, the person who's the perpetrator, he doesn't want people to find out what's going on. But Krishna wants you to find out what's going on. But you have to take the right approach. It's not in a regular mystery. If you're a really good detective or you're really smart and you look at all the clues, then you can figure it out. You might figure out, who done it or what solved the mystery. But in this kind of mystery, we can't figure it out. Not possible. We can't figure out how to please Krishna. It's only by getting the mercy of Krishna through the spiritual master that we can know and we can have that opportunity to engage in devotional service. That's why when Lord Chaitanya was teaching Rupa Goswami, he started out, he's E Rupe, Brahmanda Brahmite Kono, Bhagyavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Kripai Pai, Bhakti Lata Bij. After wandering, that's us, wandering through different species of life throughout the universe, in so many millions of years, a very fortunate person, by the mercy of Krishna and the spiritual master, gets the seed of what we're talking about, understanding bhakti. Guru Krishna Kripa, both by the mercy of Krishna, you get Guru, and by the mercy of Guru, you get Krishna. So Krishna is seeing, he's vetting people, he's vetting us. Okay, are you really qualified to get this information, to get this knowledge, and to get the mercy or not? That's what Lord Krishna is emphasizing in this verse. Are you qualified? Yes. Let's qualify ourselves. How? By engaging in devotional service. And Prabhupada mentions in the latter part of the purport the process of vidhi bhakti. Vidhi bhakti. And what are some of the practices of vidhi bhakti?
First is chanting, Prabhu, hearing, chanting,
Yes.
reading,
Yes.
service.
Yes. Yes. And because so
following the 4 regs, because I think vidhi actually means like rules and regulations. The one of it, I think, is following the 4 regs.
yes, there's dear Krishna Prabhu has nicely said there's also there's different ways to break it down in the vidhi bhakti. There's in the nectar devotion, there's I think 64 kinds of devotional service are mentioned. They're mentioned there, and there's also offenses to be avoided. So there's this positive and negative, and there's another way to categorize it. You have Pancharatriki Vidhi and Bhagavat Vidhi. Pancharatriki Vidhi means more aligned with the worship of the deities. In the 9 kinds of devotional service, that's Archanam. Archanam. And Bhagavat Vidhi is involved more with hearing śrī-bhagavān and spreading that knowledge to others. That's the duty of the devotee of Lord Chaitanya, of Krishna, also of the Brahmin. Yajan, patan, dana patigraha. These are the 6 occupational duties of a Brahmin who's supposed to know God. Yajan. They know how to do yajna, and they teach others how to do yajna. Oh, that's very interesting. And what is the yajna that's particularly recommended in Kali Yuga?
Name, chanting of the holy name.
Okay, so the
Sankirtan.
Brahmin is supposed to chant the holy name, him or herself, regularly, 16 rounds like that, minimum, but also teach others how to do it. Teach others how to do it. Oh, there's a method. Okay, there's a method. Srila Prabhupada in 1972 wrote a letter to Rupanuga Prabhu, who was the temple president in New York at the time. I was there. And in that letter, he said, we have enough devotees. We have enough devotees already. Better now, we should focus on improving their Krishna consciousness, improving their devotional service. Because milk, you can water down the milk, and it becomes just water. But if you boil the milk, it becomes very sweet. So he encouraged Rupanuga at the time to increase the activities of devotional service, particularly hearing and chanting in the temple, and doing classes on śrī-bhagavān, Bhagavad Gita, more Harinam, chanting the holy names, and distributing books, and doing those in an improved way. So there's a method. And all this to get the mercy of Krishna through his pure devotee. This was emphasized also by Gopinath in Jagannath Puri, when Lord Chaitanya came there first time. He went into the temple of Jagannath, and just seeing the deity of Jagannath, he became overwhelmed and went into from an external point of view, an unconscious state, ecstatic trance. And the chokidar, the what do you call the people who are the guard, the security guard there, was going to beat him as if he was a pretender, because obviously at that time there must have been some pretenders doing something like that. But Sarvabhauma, who was the Raj Pandit there, he had hundreds and hundreds of students, was recognized as the main priest there. He forbid them to do that and brought him back to his house. And at some point later, some of others, Lord Chaitanya's associates, arrived, and they were told where Lord Chaitanya had been taken, and Gopinath Acharya was Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's brother-in-law. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's sister was married to Gopinath Acharya, who was a great devotee. So then the devotees chanted, and Lord Chaitanya came out of his trance and from the chanting of the holy names. Then later, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, seeing, appreciating the great beauty, handsomeness of Lord Chaitanya, he thought, well, he's such a young renunciant. How's it going to be that he'll be able to maintain his sannyas? He's just a young man. So I'd better teach him Vedanta, and that way I'll keep him on the straight and narrow path. And Gopinath Acharya, hearing this, he became disturbed because you don't understand. You don't understand. This Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And they had a discussion back and forth. And Gopinath Acharya quoted various verses showing that Lord Chaitanya was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna Varanam Tusha Krishnam Sango Pangashta Parsharam. Then Suvarna Varna He Mango. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he was listening, but he didn't pay much attention to it. So they were, of course, they were relatives, so they could joke and be a little bit disrespectful in some ways. So then Gopinath Acharya said the verse, very famous verse. He said, let's see, Tatenu Kampams. No, let's see. I'm not remembering it now. Anyway, the gist of the verse was, even if you can't, if you try to speculate and try to understand God for millions and millions of years, you won't be able to understand him. But you can understand him. How? By getting a drop, just if you get a drop of mercy from Krishna, then you'll be able to understand. That was called Prashadu Leshanu Grihita Evahi. Janati Tatvam Bhagavan Mahimno. Then you'll be able to understand something about him if you get a drop of mercy. Now, how do you get a drop of mercy?
Through the spiritual master.
Yeah, engaging in devotional service as directed by the spiritual master. That's why we say, Shri Guru Charana Padma, Kevala Bhakti Sadma, Bandhan Mohi Shabdhan Mate, Jahar Prashade Bhai, E Bhava Turiya Jai. By your mercy, Jahar Prashade Bhai, all people, Jahar Prashade Bhai, E Bhava Turiya Jai. You can cross over the material ocean. Krishna Prapti Hai Jai, and you can get the mercy of Krishna that way. So this is a very nice remembrance of this in this verse, how one can, and this is even the topmost devotee in this universe, Lord Brahma. He is getting this instruction, and we're getting the same instruction millions of years later. It doesn't change. This is the method, standard method, how to approach God, and we're given that so kindly by Lord Chaitanya and Srila Prabhupada. I'd like to this verse being one of the four nutshell verses of the śrī-bhagavān is also included in the first chapter of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Did you know? It's about it describes in the first chapter. Yeah, it's text 51 in the Adi Lila 51.
Adi Lila.
Adi chapter 1, text 51. Same one. Jnānaṁ teham vijñānaṁ.
Oh yeah.
Same verse. And here's a different translation. Please hear attentively what I shall speak to you, for transcendental knowledge about me is not only scientific but full of mysteries. Oh, it's quite a different translation, isn't it? What do you make of that?
Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah, things can be understood a little differently. Yes. Yeah. And let's just read the purport. It's not a long purport here. This is so. What does Srila Prabhupada say about this particular verse as included in the Chaitanya Charitamrita? Transcendental knowledge of Sri Krishna is deeper than the impersonal knowledge of Brahman, for it includes knowledge of not only his form and personality, but also everything else related to him. Everything else related to him. There is nothing in existence not related to Sri Krishna. In a sense, there's nothing but Sri Krishna, and yet nothing is Sri Krishna save and except his primeval personality. This knowledge constitutes a complete transcendental science, and Vishnu wanted to give Brahmaji full knowledge about that science. So that's Lord Vishnu. Who's, in some situations, Lord Krishna comes and plays his flute, but in this one, it's Vishnu comes and meets Lord Brahma after he performs austerities. The mystery of this knowledge culminates in personal attachment to the Lord, with the resulting effect of detachment from anything non-Krishna. There are 9 alternative transcendental means of attaining this stage: hearing, chanting, remembering, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, worshiping, praying, assisting, fraternizing with the Lord, and sacrificing everything for him. These are different parts of the same devotional service, which is full of transcendental mystery. The Lord said to Brahma that since he was pleased with him, by his grace, the mystery was being revealed. So he's getting the mercy because he acted in such a way to please Lord Krishna. Lord Brahma did. Okay, Hare Krishna. I'm glad we got to read both purports.
Thank you, Prabhu.
I have a question for you. I have a question for you.
Yes,
You can think
Prabhu.
about this. Okay. So there's 9 different kinds of devotional service, with hearing, chanting, remembering, etc. What would you say is the difference between chanting and praying? I'd like to hear from the all the devotees here. Mother Yanusuri, you could start. Sure.
Um, Chanting, Prabhu, is what I think is when we chant the Mahamantra, we are asking the Lord to engage us in devotional service. It's to keep us focused on the holy name, seeing our purpose of life is to engage in the holy name, and that's what we're chanting. Praying is more of at least for me, it's like speaking to the Lord, talking to the Lord, you know, that's what's coming to my mind. It's not so much chanting, where we are asking, because the Maha Mantra actually is engage me in devotional service. But praying, we normally don't ask for service. We normally talk to the Lord when we're going through something in life, like something, I'm being reminded of my spiritual master's beggar series, when he would write his meditations to the Lord of, prayer and a prayerful mood. That's what's coming to my mind, Prabhu.
Sure. Good. Thank you. Anyone? So uh, there's a prayerful mood, asking something from the Lord, something like that. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else like to talk about this? Would like to put in there? Dear Krishna Prabhu says, chanting, remembering the Lord, praying, asking the Lord to give us spiritual and material benefits. Yeah, praying. Yeah. So, I mean, of course, both of you said that when you chant Hare Krishna, you're asking for service. Is that a spiritual benefit?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I
Spiritual
I
benefit.
I mean, we're asking. Wait, Prabhu, you said for when you pray for service.
That's what you said. You said chanting Hare Krishna,
Yeah,
you're asking for service.
spiritual benefit. Yeah. Sometimes, Prabhu, like for me, I mean, there's no secret to my. It's like whenever I'm, when it's outside of my chanting, quote unquote, japa, is when I pray to the Lord. Is when I'm going through challenges in my life, and I'm praying to the Lord to give me some patience, or give me, some help, or some that kind of show me the way. Why am I so this? That's what I do when I'm praying.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so there, it's perhaps a subset of chanting then, or chanting
Yeah.
is a subset of it. Okay, because
Yeah.
another, when one is engaged, when it's going through a hard time for whatever reason, another approach could be just chanting really very sincere rounds, isn't it? Anyway,
Yes,
so
Prabhu.
yeah. So I don't have any, it's not no specific definition I'll find somewhere, but
Yeah.
yeah, usually there's more emphasis in the prayer of that says there's something you're asking for more. And in chanting, there's chanting. And part of chanting is you're just hearing the sound and hearing the sound, and not necessarily you are asking, but there's less of a focus on the ask, perhaps. Yeah.
Yes, and it's more of hearing attentively to the sound vibration of the holy name,
Yeah,
trying to focus our mind on the Maha
yeah,
Mantra. Yes.
and as dear Krishna Prabhu mentioned that so when we hear and chant, then we can remember. We hear and chant, and focus on that, then we remember Krishna. But as Prabhupada says here, that they're all different parts of the same devotional service. So they're all connected. They're not necessarily completely distinct in all ways. And sometimes, like you say, that like praying in prayer is oftentimes the beginning of a prayer is a glorification of Krishna, and then near the latter part is a request for something specific. And devotees we're encouraged to request something specific in terms of our devotional service. Just like or when we had a prayer when Srila Prabhupada was indisposed or his health was not good. If, oh dear Lord Krishna, if it is your desire, please allow our spiritual master to finish his work, like that. If it is your desire. So that was a prayer. And then what did we do? We chanted Hare Krishna. Part of that was chanting Hare Krishna and then said that prayer. So they're very much connected, not different. And kirtan is also who attained perfection by kirtan.
Prabhu, can you repeat that question again? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Who attained perfection by kirtan?
Ayendra Prabhu.
Well, perhaps, but
Kirtan.
That's Sukadeva Goswami.
yes, Sukadev Goswami attained perfection, and but his wasn't necessarily chanting, Harinams and Kirtan, but he was glorifying Krishna by reciting śrī-bhagavān.
Bhagavatam, yes.
Yeah. So Sukadev Goswami, yeah. And the person who achieved perfection by hearing was Parikshit Maharaj, and the person who received
Yes.
perfection by remembering was Prahlad Maharaj. And Ambarish Maharaj did all 9 kinds of those devotional services. So if we can get really absorbed and merged into at least one of them, if not all 9, then our lives will become very blissful and perfect. Krishna will, that's the method to get the spiritual master in Krishna's mercy. Yeah. Okay.
I was just reading that same point, Prabhu, and I'm trying to remember where. I think yesterday or day before, I was reading a quote somewhere that if we can just perfect one, we can go back to God. It just one
Yes,
perfectly. Yeah, I was reading
So-
it somewhere. Yeah.
So for devotees, we have to think about how can we improve our devotional service? What ways can we do so? And we can take advice from other devotees. I quoted the letter from Srila Prabhupada to Rupanuga back in 1972. So it's not that Srila Prabhupada didn't want any more devotees to join, no, but at the same time, let's think about how we can improve their aspects of devotional service. And like yesterday, we were talking a little bit about, or maybe it was last week, I forget, about seeing how Srila Prabhupada did things and try to understand that and not imitate, but follow some of those ways that how he, like when I first went to India in 1975, there was the opening of the Krishna Balaram temple. For the opening, yeah. It was on Ram Navami of 1975. And I was there in the temple when the first arti was done after they installed the deities. And Srila Prabhupada was offering arti to Krishna Balaram. So I wanted to see how Srila Prabhupada offered the arti to Krishna Balaram, because I thought, well, he does it perfectly. I don't know, there's so many different ways you can do things, but let's see how Srila Prabhupada did things, how he did things. And I watched, and one thing that surprised me, I still recall this, one thing that surprised me was he used the chamara, and how devotees often do the chamara kind of in a very artistic and with a flair, the twirl it and things like that. Oh, yeah. But Srila Prabhupada didn't do that. He just went, and I try to, there's no commentary on this, but talking with devotees, they say, well, what is one of the main functions, not necessarily the only function, but one of the main functions of the chamara is what? What's one of the main functions of the chamara?
To get anything that's flying on the floor to take it off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
get
flies
it off.
away. It's not to be fancy, but just get those flies away. And I was telling that, and Shrutakirti Prabhu, my godbrother, he was telling me that in Vrindavan in 1972, when Srila Prabhupada was giving the nectar devotion classes there in Kartik, and he was there using a chamara on fanning Srila Prabhupada with a chamara. And after a while, he was doing it very fancy, like this fancy, but he wasn't getting the flies away. So Prabhupada interrupted the talk and he said, can someone with a little intelligence come up here and use the chamara? Anyway, so there's a function. It's not just it's not just a ritual with no function. So that was very good. So like that. How Srila Prabhupada did the arati, how he did the kirtans, and how he gave the class. All those things we can meditate on. It's not that we have to imitate or try to exactly recreate it, but we should at least consider some of those things to help us to inform how we can improve our regular activities of Krishna consciousness. And I sent that the thing for that link to Mother Jamuna's book on how to do seva puja of the deities. Yeah, that's so valuable, because she was right there with Srila Prabhupada. He was showing her how to dress. Wow. And we have different ways we think, but here's something. At least be informed with that. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Actually, Prabhu, I think a few days ago, Prakshit and I were talking about this, how Srila Prabhupada in the purport broke down the 9 process of devotional service, and how he uses the word assisting and fraternizing.
That's true. Yes.
It's different.
Yes. That would be dasyam, right? That would be dasyam.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then fraternizing. Yeah, like I've never heard Prabhupada use that word, but here he broke it down differently.
Yeah, using that word. So it kind of expands one's consciousness when you hear Srila Prabhupada, when you read these things, assisting. So it reminds me that, so what's the duty of the spiritual master? The duty is to serve Krishna. What's the duty of the disciple? To assist the spiritual master in the service of Krishna. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Such a wonderful class. Very, very, very sweet. I know we passed the hour, but I would like to definitely ask the voice of any questions. That's one thing very nice with Vishnugada Prabhu's classes. He adds question and answer in the middle of his class, which really makes it even more powerful. But if you have any additional questions, please do raise your hand. I'm just going down the list. And Prabhu, there's one thing I wanted to just clarify from my end. I'm going to go back to the verse that we just had. Is Prabhupada used the word vidhi bhakti. I'm assuming it's the same as Vaidhi bhakti, Prabhu, or is it just different?
Yes.
Okay. It's just a spelling. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I'm understanding it correctly.
Vidhi, there's probably a Sanskrit, maybe those who know Sanskrit better can know. Vidhi, the actual vidhi is the rule, and Vaidhi probably I don't know this, but those who know sense probably means following the rule. Probably there's relation, but vidhi is the rule. Yeah. Like Dear Krishna Prabhu said, pancharatriki vidhi. That's the rule of the class. Yeah, and then following it. Yeah, vidhi. Following
Thank
the
you,
rule.
Prabhu. I thought Prashit wanted to ask a question. I'm just going to see if he has a question, Prabhu. Do you have a question to ask, or do you have something to say? Yeah, you said something just now.
Chanting. Where the chanting, I was just thinking the chanting is more specific, where the prayer, one can basically ask what they want to ask. The kirtan is about serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and I thought of Uttara. When Uttara, Ashwatam attacked Uttara room with the Brahmastra, Uttara ran to Krishna, and after glorifying Krishna, she said, please save my child in the womb. Now, that's not part of the regular thing doing devotional service, but it was a prayer. That's the difference that I wanted to try to figure out. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you. You wanted to share that. Okay.
Yes.
Is there anything else that devotees would like to share? Please do raise your hand. Okay, if there isn't, Prabhu, thank you so much for such an interactive class and shedding so much light on so many points. And we thank all the devotees for joining us. Vanchakāpibhyascha, Kripasindobevacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Have a wonderful day. Hari Hari Bol.